straight week. The Niners have Brock Purdy out with toe and shoulder injuries. Mac Jones making another start against the Cardinals today. Head coach Kyle Shanahan confident in Mac's ability.
I think Mac knows how to play the position. He can play well in the pocket, distributes the ball well, sees coverage as well, can play fast in there. He's got a lot of good film from the NFL with the experience and obviously college. Tough guy who'll hang in there and deliver the ball where it needs to go.
Jones had 3 touchdown passes and no INTs in his first start last Sunday against the Saints. He's reached that mark in back-to-back weeks just once in his career. Niners minus 1.5 on ESPN Bet. Back half of ESPN Radio's Sunday football doubleheader coverage at 4 Eastern coverage underway for Bengals and Vikings. Kickoff just after noon Eastern. Actives and inactives are in. Tight end Tucker Kraft and offensive tackle Zach Tom in Green Bay both active. Xavier Legette, corner Cam Taylor-Britt, Kevin Zeitler, Dameon Pierce all inactive this afternoon. Niners wide receiver Juwan Jennings listed as questionable with shoulder and ankle injuries, will not play. So some limited help in the receiving corps for Mac Jones making the start. In the WNBA, Aces star Asia Wilson claiming another MVP, first player in league history to win her 4th.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Monday, Damian Woody joins us in studio at 7:30 a.m. Eastern to react to Week 3 in the NFL and look ahead to a potential Super Bowl matchup. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to the Alabama Football Recap Show with Drew DeArmond and Steve Moulton. Smoked by Dreamland Barbecue. Ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now. 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Drew and Steve.
Hudson Powell on the snap. Holden on the hole. They botch the hold. Holden rolling to the right. He's trying to throw. He airs it up and it's picked off. Picked off and the Rebels win. Marcel McDuffie makes the grab and it's a 41-38 final. And for the first time in the history of UNLV football, they go undefeated through the non-conference part of the schedule. Gonna give it to Braylon right side. Cuts back between the hashes. Russell rugged to the end zone. Touchdown Arkansas. 16 yards Braylon Russell and he would not be denied.
Option play. Aguilar pitches Lewis 30, 20, 10, 5, end zone. Ring him up. Nobody was home. Touchdown, Big Orange. Big one for Peyton Lewis. Number 2 goes 32 for a big 6.
It's a zone read. They give it to Smith at the last second. He's got the first down and more to the 50. Foot race down 40, 30, 20. Goodbye, Sutton Smith. The Tigers take the lead on another long run by the Paul Hornung hero. 64 yards, ladies and gentlemen, and a 32-31 lead.
Southwell, the running back, Shapen, fakes the handoff, loops it to Traore. The big tight end makes the catch and steps into the front left of the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State, Seydou Traore with a 1-yard touchdown catch to make it 13-10.
Here's the snap back to Chambliss. He's looking to throw one-on-one down the far sideline. Underthrown. Caught at the 5. Reaching into the end zone. Touchdown. Deuce Alexander just went up over the DB. Grabbed it. Lands in pay dirt.
And now the Orange are in victory formation in Death Valley. They take a knee and an historic win for Syracuse. It's first ever here. Well worth the wait as the Orange dominate from start to finish and knock off Clemson 34-21.
No timeout. They've got one. They're not going to use it on 4th and 29. Arnold deep drop. Under pressure. Mason Thomas closed it out. It's a safety. And you can unhitch the wagon. He sat for the first half, but he finished it in the second.
2 tight ends to each side, 1 to each side of the formation.
Second down and 5. Running left, Roberts. Roberts bounces it outside. Sheds a tackle. It gets to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Missouri.
On the drop back, Poppy looks middle. He steps up, he throws. It is caught by Alexander at the 5. He's going to drag tacklers into the end zone. Touchdown, Vanderbilt. Cedric Alexander, his second touchdown of the ball game. And the first passing touchdown for Diego Pavia from 10 yards.
And on second down, Arch, play action, looking to throw with some time, going deep, downfield, looking for Rico. Touchdown, Texas. There's your big strike from Manning to Ringo over the top, 53 yards.
Way to get it done there against Sam Houston. That is some of the calls as we
ain't Oklahoma.
That is definitely not Oklahoma. We welcome you into the Bama Recap Show. It's a bye week edition. That's why the calls this week are more or less around the Southeastern Conference. Yeah, I threw in a UNLV reference there. Undefeated is Dan Mullen.
But that was not Miami. That was Miami of Ohio.
That is correct.
If they trailed for most of the game.
Yeah.
Give them credit for coming back, Clown Mullen. But
and
Miami's
another issue.
Well, like I said, man, they beat Nico Iamale overrated. I'll give them credit for that. But I don't really think UCLA is very good. I think they're like 2-10.
Yeah.
They're horrendous. But again, good win for UNLV. But I will say this. I think Clemson thought it was a bye week.
When hasn't Clemson thought it was a bye week?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, look, I understand it's a first year for Tom Allen, but all that talent they supposedly had on defense, Peter Woods, Tamarian Parker, people picking them to win the national championship. And
even Dabo. I mean, I was listening to Dabo.
Yeah.
That was like 2015 Dabo.
They are terrible. I mean, they're not very good at all. Like, Klubnik has not been good. Their offensive line has not been. They got dominated by Syracuse.
Yeah,
I mean, Syracuse basically just dominated them. And I'll just call it, this season's over for Clemson. I mean,
1-3 is 1-3.
I mean, they may come
and
out
2 ACC losses,
and they'll win some games. But I think they're headed to at least a 5-loss season and some meaningless bowl game that half the team's going to opt out for. Maybe this will be the final wake-up call for Dabo. You got to go in the portal, dog. I'm sorry. You have to. Everybody else is. And his recruiting, I think, has slipped. I don't think their high school recruiting is going as well as it used to. And because I'm not even sure they're all in on the NIL game.
Yeah,
I think they're
hard to know.
What was the hokey pokey? Put your foot in, take it out, whatever, turn all about. It's almost like that for Clemson. I mean, you have to decide. See, Dabo has been very, very resistant to change, and you have to, or you don't. You can't be consistent. Now, I know he made that rant this week about our worst season in 14 years has been 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else you better be aware of? Your league stinks. Okay, it's not any good.
Miami's decent.
But I'll say this: I wasn't impressed with them last night, Steve.
You weren't?
No, I was not, especially offensively. Florida's got a good defense.
They do. Yeah. That's what kept them in it.
I think Beck is good, but all this Heisman Trophy and top 10 pick bull crap.
Yeah.
I think he's a 3rd-round pick, and I don't even think he's a Heisman finalist. Okay, because if he was, they would have won that game 50-7.
I was waiting for the door to get busted down.
And I didn't think they were very impressive. And
they did late.
And then, of course, the biggest story, and it was bad, was the officiating in the Oklahoma-Auburn game.
Oh.
I mean, that missed call on the deception play. Now, I didn't even realize. Yeah. I didn't realize that was a thing. Now I credit Matt Austin for calling that out. Shouldn't have been a touchdown, no question. They blew that call. All right, and then I can't find, because I'll have to admit I was on the road coming back from Decatur when the fumble thing happened and they scooped it.
Yeah,
and I was listening to the radio.
By the way, I texted you. I really missed Rod and Stan back at the
But
time.
I mean, I know. Well, surely, but I mean.
I really enjoy listening to Andy. I really do.
But I mean, or Stan, this is egregious, But I was listening to Ian Fitzsimmons' crew and all those guys, and
over
Kelly,
our airwaves,
and it was Kelly Stauffer, right?
Yep, right.
That's the color guy.
That's right.
And so, but when I was listening to them, and the fumble happened, and they scooped it, my first thought, okay, it's a touchdown. And
yeah, I did too.
But according to Stauffer, he's sitting there watching the replay, and I can't find a slow-mo. He's sitting there saying, I think his leg may have been down. I think he was down. And looking at the replay, not the slow-mo, I'm talking about just in real time, It looked like a fumble.
Yeah.
Okay, because it looked like he took a couple of steps. But then they even started talking about, did he have complete control of the play? And I'm assuming you saw it replayed slow-mo. What did you think? Because I can't find it.
It was iffy to me. It was. I really thought it was a scoop and score.
That's what it looked like to me when I watched.
That's what I thought, but I have not seen a replay yet to change my mind.
But I will say this: late in the game, that on that drive where Oklahoma ended up, I believe they scored. When he dropped the one in the bucket on the sideline, they originally called it incomplete. I thought that was complete.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And they're raising Cain about that, but I thought that was actually a good call.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, okay, go back and look at it. Yeah, that's a good call. And then they did miss the interference on the trick.
It sure
play.
did. It sure did.
When I first saw that one, I thought, okay, the kid timed it right. But then when I saw it back, I said, no. And I was like, and the ref, as usual, with these idiot clowns, he was completely out of position. And he didn't have his head turned. Exactly, because he probably had a ho-ho or something, and he didn't do his job. So, I mean, I agree with that. But here's the thing on that drive, though. You can't bitch on that one. You want to know why? Because Auburn scored. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I kept trying to tell people. Why are you complaining? I guess it's just because of the whole game.
Well, there was a pass interference call, on a fourth down play a few plays later, and then you did score. So I understand what you're saying.
They still scored on that one.
But it's time. I mean, that is time off the clock.
Now, in that regard, I understand the scoop and score being angry because, as you said, that's iffy. It could go either way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the deception play. It should have been a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
But I also say this, and even though I think Alabama got robbed in 2022, and I was adamant on this show and said it, I also said this. Reichert missed a makeable kick for him. It was 50 yards, but we know how good Will Reichert is. He missed it that day.
Yep.
And then the biggest thing, Jahmyr Gibbs, if he catches the football that Bryce throws him, he's out to practice early, and it's a touchdown. Even though Clown Patrol might have thrown some flag for a legal man downfield or something, you never know with that game, the way that was going. But I'm just saying, if you make the plays that you had a chance to make, because Jackson Arnold cannot miss Cam Coleman on that catch and go. I mean, nobody around him. Perfectly executed after that long run by Jeremiah Cobb. You got to hit that throw, man, if you're going to beat Oklahoma on the road. And then they had way too many penalties. And then to give up 10 sacks, they weren't all on the offensive line.
Yeah.
But at least half of them were.
Yeah.
And if I were an Auburn fan, I would be a little worried because Jackson Arnold's clock seems to be off. He holds it. He holds it. He holds it. I thought I was watching Jalen Milroe. So I'm just telling you. So, because I actually thought when he let the ball go, he played pretty well, except for that missed deep ball to Coleman.
Yeah.
And I thought Coleman did what he needed to do. He needed to have a breakout game. He had one. Ford couldn't cover him to save his life. I mean, that guy's going to have PTSD. I mean, he just kept grabbing him.
13 penalties, 85 yards for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, and I thought Auburn's defense played well. I was worried that their secondary wouldn't be up to par. And
I thought they played decent.
I thought they played decent. I wouldn't say great. I'm still wondering if they can be had by the Marcel Reeds of the world.
Yeah.
And with all these people hurt.
Yeah.
Even Ty Simpson. We'll see how good Ty Simpson is on Saturday, this coming Saturday in Athens. But some of these other really good quarterbacks, the Garrett Nussmeyers of the world, could they, pick Auburn apart? I don't know. But I will say Auburn's front seven, and they got a lot of young linebackers, but they're good. Like their front seven, they totally shellacked Oklahoma's running game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought their front was really, really good. And if the secondary rounds into form, Auburn's going to have a really good defensive team. Now, I will say this, a complete and total F in special teams. And that's another reason they lost.
Well, that and not protecting the quarterback. I mean, 10 sacks is 10 sacks.
We already mentioned the 10 sacks.
I know.
I'm just saying you can't drop a punt snap and screw
yeah,
it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't you can get continuous penalties on special teams, blocks in the back, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought Auburn's kicking game was not good. And then the horrendous miss
oh my gosh.
on the freaking on the field goal. You get the little things, man. In a game like that, you got to do them better. And in other words,
there was a shank on a punt too.
Yeah, they gave up a lot in the kicking game. I thought the kicking game was bad. Matter of fact, if you wanted to task me, by far it was the worst phase for Auburn, and that's what loses a game like that against a team like Oklahoma, who's undefeated. Mateer, I thought he was just okay early, but I thought in the second half, he kind of took over and did a great job.
I would think as an Auburn fan, I mean, you're
still be encouraged.
You're tied at halftime.
Yeah.
You're tied at halftime when you had no business being tied at halftime.
No, and I thought 100% they're a better football team than last year.
Yes, they are.
They look more physical.
But so is Oklahoma.
But I'm just a little worried still about their offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just – not from a run blocking perspective, but can they protect the quarterback and can the quarterback his clock? But I'll be honest with you, Steve, though. You know, you've watched quarterbacks and so have I.
Mm-hmm.
That usually doesn't get fixed.
Not in season.
It's instinct. It's the way they
you
play
either
the
got
game.
it or you don't.
Right. And they just I mean, trust me, I watched it for 2 years, bro. Drink. You know.
Jeremiah Cobb ran the ball 6 times, 61 yards. Damari Alston, fresh off of a stint on the injured list, 7 carries, 25 yards. Auburn just could not run the ball.
Well, and here's the thing. I thought Cobb should have got more carries, but we had Zach Blackerby of the Locked On Auburn podcast.
Did you?
This is on Saturday at Decatur Hyundai before the game. He was very kind to us at 12:30, about 2 hours before the game, to come on with us and give us his thoughts. And he gave us a tidbit that I think is the reason Cobb didn't play nearly as much. He can't pass protect, even though he's a senior. According Zach's I think his exact words were, he's a terrible pass protector.
And that's a problem.
And that is a huge problem when you're trying to throw the ball as much as Auburn is, or doing RPO.
Yeah.
And so Alston is a much better pass protector. And so you didn't see much of Jeremiah Cobb, even though I believe he came into a game top 2 in the SEC in rushing.
He did. But he had a lot of carries, especially against Baylor. But it's
that would bother me though if I was an Auburn fan. The guy's a senior and he can't pass protect.
Yeah.
That's just effort. Blocking is effort and attention to detail.
Are we going to see someone lose their job today?
Well, if you gave me the odds, I would say Yurichek and Pittman over Billy, because Strickland has doubled and tripled down on this a bunch. I think they're going to.
They looked bad.
I mean, that offense is terrible. I mean, and you almost need to here's what, if Florida did something, if they could get Billy Napier to agree to this.
They have Texas this week, by the way.
Since they're going to get a
and by the way, I still don't know how good or bad Texas is. I really don't.
But what I was going to say about the Florida situation is I could see them maybe, and Billy's going to get his money regardless.
Yeah,
okay. You're gone at the end of the year, coach the season out.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying? I could see an approach like that where at least they can start looking for a coach and things of that nature. But Pittman, that was horrible.
Yeah.
How can you blow a 28-10 lead on the road like that?
I think they were up by 11 halfway through the third quarter.
They were, but they were up 28-10 in the first half. Like you have to, and then they give up some, double. They had double coverage, somehow gave up the touchdown pass to make it 28-17. And, they just botched the whole thing. And then typical, they still should win and they fumble inside the 10. Like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, just down the ball and punt it. I mean, my God.
Kick a field goal and just head home.
But
hindsight's always 20/20.
But I'll tell you this.
It's a kid making a play.
We had John Neighbors on the show this week from inside Arkansas. And like he said, Juracek and Pittman are tied together. They're both out of here. And I truly believe that. Juracek, the things he said this week to the touchdown, that was ridiculous. Yeah. I would not have my AD saying that. And like John told us, Juracek has tried to leave Arkansas several times, but he can't get a job. So, but again, I like Sam Pittman, but I'll be blunt. They should be undefeated. They probably should have beat Ole Miss if you don't fumble. You got a chance to go in there, score, upset them, and then you choke against Memphis. And then your season looks completely different. You're ranked in the top 15, 1988's coming to town, and everybody's bouncing off the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a legit shot to beat them.
And they still do. I mean.
But I don't know, man. I just think there's some kind of malaise hanging over that program. It's just I watched Trey Biddy's walk and talk yesterday, and I respect him so much. And it's just some kind of, there's no juice. It's just like they find a way to lose. Like drink if you lose a close game. You know what I'm saying? I think now, after they lost that one on Saturday, I think the record in one-score games for Arkansas since Bobby P got fired, the Harley-Davidson thing, is 16-43. Think about that, Steve. 16-43. So, like John said, they just kind of wait for something bad to happen.
Yeah.
And Arkansas defensively, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan Silverfield's done a hell of a job at Memphis. But you can't let that game get away from you if you're Arkansas. You have to find a way. When you're up 28-10, man, your defense has to find a way to make some plays. I mean, that's just terrible. And that was a horrible loss for the Hogs.
I immediately went Tim McGraw in my head. You got to hold on to the football, son.
Yeah.
You got to hold on to the football.
You just didn't go get any duct tape, though. I mean, good Lord. But he had some duct tape and some wild turkey. I don't have wild turkey.
Well, I will tell you, that was an impressive win for Ole Miss. I really thought it was very efficient.
I looked this up so I could hopefully say his name right. I'm sorry, Austin Simmons, but Division II Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah. I think he took your job. Goodbye, son.
he looked.
I'm glad
really
you got
good.
like 2 degrees and you're a genius. But you may need to get in the portal, and whoever Florida hires as their head football coach, I'm sure DJ will be out the door, so you may take his place.
Ole Miss, a 45-10 win over Tulane.
That was impressive.
It's 14th straight win against the Green Wave. Trinidad Chambliss became the 4th player with 300 yards passing and 100 yards rushing in a game in Ole Miss history. I said history, joining Archie Manning, Chad Kelly, and Jordan Tiamu.
Oh, yeah, Jordan Tiamu. I remember him
from
Oregon. Hey, but I'm just saying, I think that may have been a stroke of luck for Lane, and I think Tulane's pretty good. So
I do too.
So Ole Miss just destroyed them. I thought that would be,
and now they get game. LSU this week,
because I would have taken the points. And all I'm going to say for Dirt Neck's other brother Daryl, you better be ready to play, son. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't care where the game is.
Vanderbilt dropped 70 points in a win over Georgia State. Yeah, this was a little bit of a payback.
Oh, this was revenge best served cold, man.
Perspective on the night and the season for the Commodores. It is their most points in a game since November of 1918.
Oh, my God. Well, I'll just say this. I enjoyed the soundbite from Diego after the game, too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you need to see that one. That's where he basically says, look, I didn't grow up with a lot. So if I got to see a team play, I'd get to see somebody play once. He said, so what we owe all these fans who were turning out, you never know.
Oh, that was cool to see. Yeah. That stadium was packed.
No, he just said, this may be their only opportunity, so we got to be at our best. And I'm just saying Vanderbilt's very dangerous right now. They're really, really good.
4-0, probably going to be 5-0 after Saturday.
Be 5-0 headed to Tuscaloosa, man.
Exactly, and they have not started since 2008. They were 4-0.
Was that James Franklin?
James Franklin, yeah.
Before he went to
scored 30-plus points in each of their first 4 games for the first time since
1918.
1916.
No. Well, I'm going to double down. This is the best Vanderbilt team I've ever seen, and I'll be the first to say.
I've said that.
I did not watch a second of that game.
Oh, I did.
And then when I saw the final, I was like, "Geez!"
Yeah, no, I wasn't opening up a can. That was and quite a few fans stayed for the whole thing.
Well, they should.
Yeah, they absolutely should.
They've stayed through some whippings over the years, man.
Then there's Missouri, South Carolina. Missouri
I took Mizzou in this game.
4-0 for the third consecutive season following its 29-20 win against South Carolina. Tigers outscored South Carolina 11-0 in the fourth quarter after entering the final frame trailing 20-18.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something. I was impressed with Missouri because of the way they can run the football.
Oh, goodness.
They've got a three-headed monster.
Repeat. Yeah.
And I kept trying to tell my Gator friends, they're obsessed with Lane Kiffin.
Oh, are they?
That's who they've got to have. Lane Kiffin. Make him say no.
Is that the right fit?
And I'm like, guys. Drink wants the job. Coach Drink would go to Florida, and they're like, "Oh, we got to make Lane Kiffin say no." And I'm like, "Why?" I mean, Coach. I mean, you compare the resumes. What has Lane Kiffin won that Coach Drink hasn't won? And I'll ask you another question. Is it harder to win at Missouri or Ole Miss?
Well, Missouri has been at the title game twice under Pinkel.
Yeah, but that was because they were in the other division.
I get that.
Ole Miss would have probably, if they had been in the other division, if they had been in the East somehow, Ole Miss would have made a trip. But I'm just saying, from a resources perspective, I know they have a really good NIL situation, like law in Missouri.
Yeah,
but still,
and journalism.
But still, you've got a lot of great players in Mizzou that leave, and so I just think Drink has done a great job, and I think his snark, his personality.
Oh yeah, that fits. It does feel like another version of Steve Spurrier to me a little bit.
Totally. I think he's perfect.
Yeah.
And but he's most of these lists you see, he's barely on it. And so
you think there's going to be a gentleman's agreement between Florida and Billy of just go ahead and coach out the season?
That would be the way I think they would handle it. I don't think they just fire him.
Yeah.
Because Strickland has been, so adamant. You saw the statement he released a couple of weeks ago. Another one.
Yeah.
And then I think it would allow Strickland, who signed a 5-year extension. Some of my Gator friends are wondering, hey, is Strickland out of here? But I doubt it.
Ahmad Hardy, back to the Missouri game.
He was unreal.
He's had a heck of a 2 weeks. He had over 250 yards rushing last week.
Yep.
Well, he is now the second player in Mizzou history with 100 yards in each of his first 4 games of the season. That's since 1969, Joe Moore. He's also the first SEC player with 100 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown in each of his first 4 games this season since Leonard Fournette in 2015.
And the thing that I love about Drink is he's committed to the running game. Every year they have a guy that can tote the rock.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of times portal guys and different people. And don't forget, Ole Miss's best tailback left Missouri.
That's right.
That was Keywan Lacey.
That's right.
But they didn't care. They've got 2 other guys ready to roll.
There was a D2 kid last year, and then now Hardy coming from Louisiana Monroe, I want to say.
But I'm just saying, and that's another dangerous game for Alabama. They've got to go to Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah.
I wasn't all that impressed with Perbula. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I thought he was okay. He does have good mobility. But he didn't wow me. I mean, I think Ty Simpson's better, just, watching both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, you better be ready because Mizzou is going to punch you in the face. So you better be ready to go. And even with Lenoris overrated playing, and that's what he is, I mean, I've got to worry about these NFL scouts if they think that's the first pick in the draft. I mean, he made some good throws, but I wasn't that impressed with his ability to process. And they did a good job hemming him up. He didn't do anything with his legs. So good job by Mizzou's coaching staff. But South Carolina cannot run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And this sure ain't the South Carolina defense I saw last year.
No, it's not. No.
I mean, they got manhandled in the trenches. And they were lucky the game was as close as it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just thought Missouri was most definitely the better team. I think South Carolina's headed for what I thought they were, 7-5. And is Shane Beamer going to think about going home?
Well, I asked him about that, and he evidently it wasn't the first time he was asked it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he was very short with me on Wednesday, but I had to ask it because it is a storyline and becomes a bigger of a storyline now that Mizzou had their way with South Carolina. By the way, if you happen to be watching on WZZN TV, my camera is fixated on the capstone.
Oh.
And I mean, after all, this is the Bama Recap Show. So, I mean, that feels appropriate that the camera is on Denny Chimes more than anything.
I mean, and then yesterday, I got to say it, Vols roll against UAB.
Yep.
But they're down 28-0 or whatever the hell it was. And we were watching it on our laptop at the Hyundai of Decatur. And then they line up in some stupid trick play formation.
Yeah.
And I just started yelling, help! Help! Somebody help me! Because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to fool them. And Brody, being the resourceful producer he is, he starts playing Help from the Beatles. Help! Yeah. I was just like, and my voice was worse yesterday. I mean, it was cracking.
Yeah.
I sounded like Mike Valenti. I mean, come on. 2006, Notre Dame, Michigan State, the greatest rant in radio history. I mean,
it is pretty epic.
I mean, help!
Is this finally the last call for Trent Dilfer?
I think it is. Yeah. Because when you're doing something like that, down like 28-0, Steve, I mean, you're like, hey! I mean, you're trying to fool them. And I like Trent Dilfer. I think he loves football. I just don't think he's not built for college football. To me, he needs to be a high school coach. No disrespect. He needs to keep working with the Elite 11 and young players. This ain't Bill Clark.
No, it is definitely not.
Won't you please help me?
I mean, I'll be honest. If Heupel had wanted to, he could have scored 80
easily.
I mean, I picked 65-6.
You got 56-24
or something like that. And I told Scott, I said, this is going to be like 65-6. But I said, hell, it could be 84-6. I mean, they just destroyed them. Scott's like, do you play Aguilar in the second half? I was like, absolutely not.
So Mississippi State did not exactly show up to play yesterday.
Second half was good, though.
But they already had that let's just show up and win. And I didn't think I would see that out of Mississippi State this year. But credit to Northern Illinois.
Oh, they're a much better team than people
That's a team that beat Notre Dame last year on the road at South Bend. But I realize different year, all that.
They're a lot better than Miami of Ohio.
But Blake Shapen really impressed me in the second half.
Yeah.
And now Mississippi State is 4-0 for the first time since 2014.
I was going to say the year they've gotten to number one.
2014, yeah.
When the world was on its axis, and Mississippi State was number one, and what Ole Miss was number two.
Yeah,
I mean, it was insanity.
That first week was like, excuse me,
yeah,
State of Mississippi's 1 and 2.
What? I mean, huh? I mean, good Lord. But it's going to be interesting to see this matchup coming up on Saturday inside of Davis Wade Stadium,
Tennessee.
When Klanga takes on the Tennessee Vols.
That's going to be fun to watch.
I'd have to pick Tennessee, but I would.
Do you? I mean, I
have to, but
this week,
man.
You know what? This week of games we're going to dive into, including, of course, Alabama playing host to the Georgia Bulldogs, and there was an announcement earlier in the week about a certain blackout that is going to happen.
God, they're actually going to do it. I thought it was a joke. They're going to wear black jerseys again.
Yeah, I got an email from the.
Oh my God! What is Kirby doing? He coached in that game. What are you doing, dude?
So,
why are you doing it again?
Looks like the blackout is indeed going to happen. We'll dive into that. There is a plenty to get into for week 5 of the SEC season. It is the Bama Recap Show, smoked by Dreamland BBQ.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
All right, it's the game of camera tag. Now it's Drew's camera that is now fixated on our sidewall.
Okay.
I don't know.
I didn't touch it.
I know it's motion censored. I really.
Oh.
Those of you watching on WZZN TV, I sincerely appreciate it. But honestly, this side of the board, I don't know as well as this side of the board.
And I'm definitely not a techie person, but you can hear me.
Yep.
So
appreciate
everybody for listening.
I did have an opportunity to talk to head coach Kalen DeBoer on Wednesday. Here is that conversation. I wanted to ask in particular of drops and I'm asking because whether the route was the right one, was the ball put in the right place, of just evaluate the couple of drops there in the Wisconsin game for me, Coach.
Yeah, we had two there in the fourth quarter that I know really jump off the screen, and just guys got to continue to just watch the ball all the way in. And I think that's a lot of it. I thought the ball was right where it needed to be. And that's just focus, especially the two young men, Ryan and Lottie. I mean, these guys got great hands. And so it's not about that. It's about keeping your eye on the football and knowing that you can't go anywhere without it, and just doing your job first of catching it, and then let your ability go make the play afterwards.
You referenced the Georgia's last game. I'd love to get your thoughts in particular about the Georgia-Tennessee game, Coach.
Just compete until the very end, and that's what we saw a year ago, and that's what you're going to expect to see every time, they step on the football field. So didn't matter what the scoreboard said. There's a high level of competition happening, and just playing that play and only that play.
Ty Simpson, what kind of development have you seen out of Ty just from game one to the last game against Wisconsin, Coach?
I think he's really slowed the game down. He stayed disciplined. He's staying more disciplined with, just where his reads are taking him, and not being in a hurry. And then keeping his eyes downfield and trusting the offensive line, even, when he's got to hang in there. I thought the third down on the second drive, him just ripping that corner to Ryan was a big time throw. And, that you love to see that. He's made those plays more now the last couple of weeks. And so it's just him getting more comfortable. Him understanding, when he's got to make those big throws, how to keep drives alive, and and staying ahead of the chains. He's just doing a better job with all of those things here these last 2 weeks. But yeah, I think he's becoming more comfortable, more confident, and of course the team is becoming more confident in him too.
And obviously a lot of fans are getting ready for a week from Saturday, Coach, but it makes me think about the game in Tuscaloosa last year. What stood out to you the most about that win in Tuscaloosa against Georgia last year for your teams, Coach?
We competed till the end. They did as well, and did a nice job in the second half. But we also kept playing, and we had, didn't make our own breaks there a couple series. They could get off the field at times, but in the end, we made the plays too. We kept believing and kept fighting. So I expect that from our football team, with kind of where we've been at and how we've attacked practice, attacked the games. We're in a fighter's mentality mode right now too.
That is my conversation I had with Kalen DeBoer. And yeah, last year's game against the Dogs was one of the bigger moments, that in the LSU game, of Kalen DeBoer's first year down in Tuscaloosa. But now heading off to Georgia. And listen, I know this is the Bama recap show, but at least what I've seen out of Alabama and what I've seen out of Georgia, Bama's shown me more. And I realized that first one was just an egg. There's no way to put it other than that. But the focus-like mentality that I've seen out of the last two games, albeit home games against Wisconsin and Louisiana Monroe, I think I've seen more out of Alabama than I have Georgia. What about you?
Well, I mean,
although Georgia's fight against Tennessee showed me a good bet.
Georgia has the best, the win, because they won at Tennessee. Tennessee looks like they're a good team. Though I will say, even though they haven't played a high-level opponent, Florida State has looked outstanding after that victory over Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, they've beaten the hell out of everybody. Weather
delays and all.
I'm going to be interested to see how they do on Friday when they travel to Charlottesville against Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Do they thrash Virginia? But I think there's a good chance they'll have Miami and Florida State could be undefeated,
in
ranked
2 weeks.
maybe even in the top 5, both of them. Which who would have ever thought that
back in the day?
Yeah, but it does look like Alabama lost to a good team. At least it does to me, no doubt about it. But we'll have to see. I mean, I think Alabama has played well the last 2 weeks. Obviously, Wisconsin lost decisively at home to Loxley and Maryland.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of fire Fickle chants. I mean, he's starting to feel the heat in Madison, Wisconsin. So that win doesn't look as good. But, I thought Alabama handled business against them. I did notice that Louisiana Monroe beat somebody yesterday.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I that quickly went by my screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was like, wow. So Monroe won a game, and they had won. They of course they played an overmatched opponent their first game, but I was like, wow, they won. So, and Alabama dominated them, but again, Monroe is not.
They beat UTEP at UTEP 35-25.
Malachi Nelson is the quarterback at UTEP.
Yep,
he's in the band with Nico Iamaleava, Jaden Rashada. And it's quickly becoming DJ Lagway too. All these fools you pay all these millions to, and they stink. But I'm just telling you. But like I said, I just think Georgia has the best win. They definitely do. They've got the home field advantage. I would still have Georgia about a 5 or 6 point favorite. But do I think Alabama can compete and have a chance? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
But it's going to come down to, can Alabama get off blocks? Can they stop the run? And can they be physical? Because I know Georgia is going to try to come out and establish physicality early.
I'm just quarterback-wise, I think to me, it's an easy decision of who would you rather have at quarterback, Ty Simpson or Gunnar Stockton. To me, it's Ty. The backfield, when Georgia actually plays Nate Frazier,
I'm going to be – here's the wild card. How much juice does Jam Miller give Georgia? And what kind of shape – Alabama against Georgia.
Yeah.
What kind of shape is he in? Is he ready to roll? Can he give them a shot in the arm running the football? And then, and then the game plan Ryan Grubb comes up with.
Will he abandon it if Alabama gets down like we saw against Florida State?
I don't know. That's going to be really interesting. Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, Ryan Grubb, and the game plan they come up with against Georgia. Because I will say, I think Georgia's back end of their defense can be had. At least it looked like that way to me.
It certainly did. Because
Tennessee, made play after play, and Georgia had trouble stopping them. And Tennessee ran the football.
Yeah.
And so far, the Georgia defense doesn't impress me that much. But
I do. If there is one wide receiver that I think Alabama would take over maybe
Branch.
It's Branch. That you know where I'm going. He has proven to be already through 3 games that he knows what he's doing. Money well spent there for the Georgia Bulldogs on that transfer from USC. But honestly, I did go over the drops there with Kalen DeBoer on Wednesday.
Right.
He just said that's.
Well, that can't happen. That can't happen against Georgia because it's going to be – Alabama's got to make it a 4-quarter fight. It's got to be a war, and they've got to be physical, and they've got to make plays when they have a chance to. They can't, and they've got to cut down on the penalties,
yes,
the stupid stuff, especially the false starts and the illegal formations and stuff like that on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start quickly, and you got to make plays, and then you got to respond to adversity. They did against Georgia last year. It's one of the few times they have under this coaching staff, but they're going to have to do it again. I just can't believe Georgia's doing a blackout. After the disaster that was years ago, I can't believe they do it again. I mean, to me, that's almost like arrogance. Like they think they've got the game won already, and they're trying to atone for it. And I'm like, guys, I wouldn't want to repeat something, but that's just me. I mean, I even saw a post on X that all they got to do is contain Jeremy Bernard, and they're going to blow Alabama out. And I'm like, really?
That's it. That's all they got to do.
That's it. So
that's all they got to do.
And then I think somebody rightfully pointed out, like, you watch the defensive performance against Tennessee. I mean, wasn't very good. I mean, you found a way to win, and you got a little. And let's be blunt, it was luck. I mean, Georgia had no business winning that game. They got their
zero.
They got their ass beat the whole game.
That's a horseshoe.
But
anyway,
but I've watched Alabama do that and find a way under Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So they Tennessee gave him the game, and they took it.
If Georgia plays like they did against Tennessee, then Bama's a 2-touchdown winner.
I mean, we'll see. But I mean, I like all I'm saying, if I'm Georgia, is I would not. They're like, well, Alabama can't run the ball. I'm like, well, we'll see. They haven't run it great, but they are going to get Jam Miller back, and a mobile quarterback has hurt Kirby as well. I mean, he struggled against them.
Certainly, the other factor that needs to be brought up, and Auburn fans know what I'm about to say, is officiating, because the lack of consistency from game to game. I watch primarily SEC games.
Yeah.
But even the lack of consistency that I see from game to game on what constitutes a catch, what doesn't constitute a catch, what is a fumble, what is not a fumble. What is pass interference, what is not pass interference.
I agree. And even targeting. I thought I saw targeting last night from South Carolina.
You did. I did too.
And they called a personal foul, but they waved off the targeting.
And then I heard the announcer. Yeah, I heard the announcer say, "Yeah, good for that kid." Well, then what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Here's what I think they should stop ejecting kids for targeting.
Yeah,
and just make it a personal foul and a 15-yard penalty.
Make them be out for the remainder of that series, and then just be done with it.
Just make it a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay. A 15-yard. That's egregious enough. Okay. You don't have to eject the kid.
Yeah. I think the kids and the coaches have learned how to coach that better. And that was the ultimate goal, is to make the game safer.
Right.
And the game is safer. Now, I mean, it's never 100% because this is a violent game, but what are we doing? Just what? So the officiating is that other factor that I hope we're not talking about a week from today, but it could be a factor a week from today. And half the population seems to be heading to Athens, Georgia, next Saturday.
I think we all expected that. It's going to be the biggest game in the country.
Yep.
It's a great opportunity for Kalen DeBoer and this coaching staff to see how much this team has grown.
Yeah.
They should have. I would expect them to have Ja Marion, Latham, Tim Keenan, and Jam all back. This will be as healthy as they've been in a while. There ain't no excuses. Either you're ready to play or you're not. And Georgia's going to be ready to play. They're going to come out with their hair on fire. I expect that. And Alabama's got to find a way. They got to build on the pass rush they showed against Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get after Gunnar Stockton, who is mobile.
Yeah.
But you got to but he's not twitchy. So you got to try to just contain him in the pocket, make him make plays. But the biggest thing you got to do is you got to stop the run. You got to put the game in Stockton's hands and see if he can beat you. If I'm Alabama. Now Georgia, I think they're going to try to confuse Simpson. I wouldn't be surprised if they, they're going to probably come with some exotic blitz looks.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to switch between man and zone a lot, and they put a lot on the quarterback.
They do.
Ty's going to have to be able to check off, in a loud environment, and the receivers catch the ball. I don't want to hear it. You're getting paid $1.8 million. Catch the ball.
That's exactly why I went there with Coach DeBoer. A total of 5 SEC games will kick off this Saturday, I should say, beginning with LSU at Ole Miss. Also kicking at 2:30 Central is Auburn at Texas A&M. Goodness gracious, Auburn, another road trip, and that is A&M, by the way, coming off of a bye week. Tennessee at Mississippi State, Georgia at Alabama. You'll be able to hear that right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And then Kentucky is at South Carolina. Kentucky coming off of a bye. But, wow, that game could be a barometer game there for both of those programs here in 25 with Kentucky at South Carolina. But honestly, I could very well see scenarios. You could convince me either team is going to win any of these SEC matchups. LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Alabama, Georgia, and even Kentucky, South Carolina. We're this far into the season. It's week 5 this Saturday. I still don't know anything.
Not much.
I just
very interesting. The Ole Miss Rebels are a 1.5 point favorite over my,
are they really?
Dirt Neck's other brother Daryl. 54.5. It's the over under, so they're expecting a high scoring contest.
Let's try to squeeze in Brandon before the music hits, and then we all get ready for.
He wants some whole hog Memphis barbecue.
That's Central. See, you want Central barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Did somebody give Dabo a Xanax before his press conference this week?
I did not.
Was out.
I didn't.
He was much more subdued, Steve. Much more subdued. He just said,
all I read was that he was hurting. Yeah, he could feel everybody's pain.
He just said, "Look, I've been here 23 years. 23 years at Clemson. That's crazy, right now when you think about it."
Wow.
He said, "And I pour my heart and soul into this every day." He goes, "And I give him my best, and sometimes it's not good enough." Basically.
Well, after that one last week, I was interested to see what he was going to say this week, and it was more of a contrite conversation this week. He wasn't talking about wanting to be fired and all that crazy mess.
Man.
He calmed all that down.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Well, I said we would find out what he was when Brent Venables left, and I believe the jury is in.
Well, what is Bill Belichick without Tom Brady? That's all I'll say. F.
Well, how about what North Carolina did at the bounce house yesterday?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, is there a guy that's more overrated in the history of coaching without Tom Brady? Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. Think about it. He was terrible in Cleveland. He was not great in New England until they found Tom Brady. And he has absolutely stunk since they let Brady walk. And then Brady won a Super Bowl with the Bucs.
So you're saying if Bledsoe doesn't get hurt,
that he's probably fired. Okay, I'm just saying. And then he was a great defensive coordinator. Okay, we know that. He helped Parcells win a couple of Super Bowls. But as a head coach, Tom Brady, made Bill Belichick. That's obvious. Bill Belichick so far at North Carolina has been horrendous.
All right, Brandon, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Appreciate the phone call, sir.
Thank you.
Roll Tide.
Well, on that subject, here we go. It's the week upon us. Alabama, Georgia week.
It comes down to the same things, man. Alabama's going to have to control the line of scrimmage and find a way not to get dominated by Georgia up front. They've got to slow Georgia's running game down. They've got to force Stockton into some mistakes. They can't give up explosive plays to Georgia, whether it be the run or the pass. They've got to tackle in space. And then Ty Simpson can't turn the ball over. It's going to have to be a quarterback game. He has to outplay Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, and I think he's fully capable.
A chance to do that.
And Jam, I think, plays a very important part of this matchup.
Does he give Alabama the balance?
That's exactly what I mean.
If he does, then Alabama has a very legit chance to win.
Because I think, Ryan, I think the wide receiver core will message received. I think they will do their job. But to me, if Jam can do his job at a high level, then Alabama – to me, has just every piece in place for a road win, which would be just as big as that LSU game last year.
It would be. I mean, it's a big one for Kalen DeBoer and this coaching staff. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. Kirby has as well.
That's right.
It's going to be a fascinating matchup in Athens, and it'll be the epicenter of college football, but it's also an underrated slate for the week in the SEC.
Oh, my gosh.
A lot of really nice games.
We just went through it, and I'm –
Clanger versus the Maggots at home.
Yeah, if there was one other place I would want to be, it would be in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
for that game between Tennessee and Mississippi
And Texas
State.
A&M Auburn's pretty fascinating.
It is.
Ole Miss, LSU.
Well, I'm just saying, me personally, I would probably go start at Athens, Starkville. Wow, probably, man. Auburn, Texas.
Arkansas against 1988.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Enjoy some Falcon football. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
Leading the series, but they have split the season series each of the last 5 years. Now, some would say, well, they probably won on their own respective home fields. Not necessarily the case with these two. In fact, more often than not in the last 15 years, the road team has won the game.
Yeah, it's been very odd. Atlanta won here last year in a game that kind of got away from Carolina late in the game. Close game at halftime. And then last year, classic shootout where Bryce Young kind of found his rhythm a little bit, ended up winning in overtime 44-38. We saw what potentially Michael Penix could be that day as well.
Well, and the other thing is, I thought it was very interesting. Raheem Morris has no problem referencing the final game of the regular season as kind of a tipping point for the 25 team, Arch.
Well, certainly put you in that direction as we need to be better defensively, and you got that effort last weekend against Minnesota.
Coin toss brought to you by Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC. Ladies and gentlemen, old number 4, Craig Rolstad is the referee today in Uptown Charlotte.
Good afternoon, captains. On the NFL coin, the Panther head is heads. The NFL shield is tails. Atlanta, you're the visiting team. What is your call?
Tails.
Called tails. It is heads. You won the toss. Carolina's won the toss. They will defer their choice to the second half. Like to receive. Which way you want to kick? Switch sides for me, please.
So Atlanta is going to get the ball first.
Atlanta will receive. Best of luck, captains.
And there's our coin toss brought to you by Truist. All right, so the Falcons, like they did last Sunday night in Minneapolis, have gone to the Stormtrooper white. Maybe my favorite jersey. Really good looking.
Yeah, the all white looks spectacular. No question about it.
Black numbers, red letters.